You can either let the hard things become the reason you stop taking care of yourself, or you can let them be the reason you finally decide to take your life, your fitness, your self-care through the storm as the cornerstone of your health. Hey girl, do me a favor and go grab yourself a cup of coffee because we're about to have a heart-to-heart. At the age of 19, I was diagnosed with celiac disease. And honestly, I do not think people realize how much of a life change that is until it happens to them. I was so young and I lost a lifetime of memories eating out worry-free with my friends, enjoying the bread, the date nights where you can just pick up and go anywhere you want and enjoy yourself. And now forever having to scan a menu or sit at a table in silence while everyone else eats because I physically can't. But ironically, I actually consider myself lucky to have celiac disease. What I gained out of that loss, to me, is worth more than any piece of bread has to offer, even though it do be damn fine and delicious. All jokes aside, I don't want to gloss over how difficult it is. Celiac disease can be brutal. It can mean being hungry, frustrated, embarrassed, sad, and lonely, and trying to act like it's not a big deal. It can be crying in the car after events because you accidentally got gluten and you're in so much pain you can't even think straight. Those beginning stages are tough, and when I was first diagnosed, I really had to cope with that loss. I realized that food is not just food. Food is memories, it's connection, it's celebration. Food is a yes, I can't wait to see you. And all of a sudden, I couldn't participate in all of that the same way anymore. And every time I tell someone that I have celiac disease, they always say the same thing. Oh, I could never do that. And I think it's so funny because, yeah, I said the same thing when I was first diagnosed. But when it's something that is actively trying to kill you, you figure it out. You learn, you adapt, you get mad about it sometimes, you cry about it sometimes. And as a grown-ass adult, you pack snacks like a toddler because you cannot trust that there will be something safe when you get there. And then eventually it just becomes part of you. And most people respond with like sadness or pity when they hear that I have celiac disease, but I feel so differently about it now. I consider myself lucky. Celiac disease taught me at a very young age that I need to respect and take care of my body, that my body wasn't something that I could ignore. It taught me that health is not guaranteed. It taught me how much power there is in paying attention, in advocating for yourself, in reading the label, in asking the question, in choosing the thing that supports your body, even when it's inconvenient. And I think that lesson has shaped so much of who I am now. And 10 years later, at the age of 29, I lost my relationship with my father because of addiction. The one thing that is supposed to mean the most in life, family, was lost because someone didn't hold themselves to a standard and manage their health both physically and mentally. I can't control that my body tries to kill me if I accidentally eat a piece of Wonder Bread, or that someone I love dearly struggles with addiction. One idea I talk about as a cornerstone of emotional regulation and owning not only your fitness journey, but honestly, every area of our lives is controlling our controllables. And I think sometimes people hear that and they think that it means that you're supposed to control everything. Your body, your schedule, your weight, your emotions, your family, your environment, your outcomes. That to reduce your stress, you just have to quit your job and live that stress-free life. But that is not what I mean, and honestly so out of touch with reality. The truth is, life will hand you things that you did not choose and would have never asked for. Diagnoses you did not ask for, family pain you cannot fix, relationships that harm you instead of heal you, seasons where everything feels heavier than it should. And if you try to control every piece of that, you will exhaust yourself trying to win a game that was never fully in your hands. I can't change my genetics. I can't change the fact that I have celiac and Hashimoto's disease. I can't control the people in my life, the environment around me, the attitude I give my husband. Okay, maybe I can control that one. But I can control how I react to what's in front of me, how I choose to respond. You can control whether you keep abandoning yourself, your goals, your values, because life has been hard, people are tearing you down, Or you can decide that your health, physically, mentally, and emotionally, is still worth protecting in the middle of all those hard things. You can control whether you keep saying, I'll start when life calms down, or whether you accept that life may never be perfectly calm and you still deserve to be cared for now. You can control whether you numb, avoid, or disconnect. And I can choose to see the bad thing as a bad thing, or maybe I can search to see the value of it. And maybe if I look hard enough at these things that I thought were truly awful and ruined my life and how they're just so unfair, maybe if I look hard enough, I can see how they've built me. They've built me to be kind, thoughtful, patient, caring, an absolute bombshell. How they've built me to be someone who values her health, her husband, her sister, mother, and family. Someone who's constantly striving to grow and be the best that she can be. My life is full, happy, and healthy as it is today because of those things. And I know this might sound strange because when you're in the middle of the hard thing, you don't see it that way. I get that it feels like this woo-woo, maybe almost psychotic feeling to think, oh, thank you for this pain. I get it that in that moment, you don't look at the diagnosis, the family pain, the grief, the stress, the breakup, the health issue, the season of feeling completely lost and think, wow, this is really shaping me into a stronger woman. No, you think, why is this happening to me? Why do I have to carry this when everyone just gets to glide through life? This is not fair. But the things that feel like they are taking from you are usually also teaching you what matters to you, what you value. Maybe they're teaching you what you no longer are willing to tolerate. You can either let the hard things become the reason you stop taking care of yourself, or you can let them be the reason you finally decide to take your life, your fitness, your self-care through the storm as the cornerstone of your health. And that is where fitness became so much deeper for me than just wanting to look a certain way. Yes, I love seeing my body change and being a fine-ass wife. But underneath all of that, fitness became a place where I proved to myself that through all of the shit in life, I'm still strong, I'm still capable, I'm still worthy. I can't control the diagnosis, but I can control how I support my body. I can't control someone else's addiction, but I can control the standard I live by. I can't control every stressful thing life hurls at me, but I can control whether I keep showing up for myself anyway. And I think that's a piece that so many women miss when they think about fitness. They think about it as just changing their body, getting leaner, building muscle, feeling hotter, wearing the dress, loving the photo, looking in the mirror, and finally feeling proud of what they see. And listen, I am never going to pretend those things don't matter. They do. But the reason your fitness changes your life is not because your body just starts to look different. It's because you start to relate to yourself differently. You start becoming the woman who keeps promises to herself, the woman who does not disappear when life gets hard, who goes numb, disassociates, and becomes a smaller version of herself, which hurts not only her, but everyone else around her. You have to put in the work to build yourself into a woman who can feel overwhelmed, hurt, stressed, tired, broken-hearted, and still choose one small thing that brings her back to herself. That is the deeper work. Confidence matters. Feeling good in your body matters. Wanting to look strong and feminine and powerful matters. But the deeper transformation is not just in your body. It's in who you become when you stop abandoning yourself. Because every time you make the harder choice, every time you go to the gym when you said you would, every time that you eat in a way that supports your body instead of punishing it, every time you pause before reacting, every time you come back to your values instead of letting your emotions drive the car, you are building evidence. Evidence that you are capable. Evidence that you are resilient. Evidence that you can trust yourself. Evidence that even when life is messy, painful, inconvenient, or unfair, you are still someone who takes care of herself. And I want to be really clear. This is not blaming people for their pain or me saying that everyone can just discipline their way out of trauma, addiction, grief, illness, stress, hardship. No, that's not how real life works. There is a very real difference between something being your fault and something being your responsibility to manage. Celiac disease is not my fault. Hashimoto's disease is not my fault. Losing the relationship I want with my dad is not my fault. But learning how to take care of myself through those things, that is my responsibility. A lot of people think that fitness means discipline, and discipline means forcing yourself harder, ignoring your emotions, shaming yourself into action, or white-knuckling your way through life until you finally become her. But I actually think that makes it worse, because you can have the fit body, you can have the abs, you can have the tiny weights, the glutes, the gym routine, the meal plan, the super disciplined lifestyle, and still be deeply unhealthy. You can look like the goal and still be completely disconnected from yourself. You can have the body everyone compliments and still be living in a constant state of stress, shame, fear, and self-abandonment. And that is not health. Health is not just what your body looks like. Health is how you are living inside of that body. It's your nervous system, your stress, your mindset, your emotional regulation, your self-trust, your relationships, your ability to rest without guilt. Your body matters, absolutely. But your body is not the whole story. Your mind is part of your health. Your emotions are part of your health. Your standards are part of your health. Your environment is part of your health. The way you speak to yourself when life gets hard is part of your health. And for me, fitness became powerful when I stopped using it as a way to control my body. And I started using it as a way to care for my whole self. And honestly, that is why I get so passionate when women tell me that they feel guilty for prioritizing the workouts, or they feel selfish for taking time to meal prep or go in the gym, or dramatic for wanting to better themselves, or when they feel guilty for wanting to get fit. Because I don't see those things as vanity. I see them as self-preservation. I see them as self-respect. I see them as the quiet daily proof that you're no longer waiting for your body to scream at you before you start listening and acting. At the end of the day, I can't tell you what's right or wrong for you, but I do know that your health is not just about macros, calories, steps, workouts, or a body composition. Those are tools. The deeper thing is learning how to become someone who keeps promises to herself, someone who pays attention, someone who doesn't wait until things fall apart to start caring, someone who understands that your body is the one hole you do not get to move out of. And that is why controlling your controllables matters so much to me. Not because it makes life perfect, not because it protects you from every hard thing, but because it gives you a place to stand when life feels unstable. It gives you a way back to yourself. Maybe you don't have an autoimmune disease, but if you've made it this far, you can probably relate to feeling lost, to feeling like life is happening around you and you're just trying to keep up. You can probably relate to looking in the mirror and not fully recognizing the woman staring back at you. You can probably relate to knowing deep down that you want more for yourself, but not knowing how to do so. Fitness, nutrition, health, self-care, whatever words you want to use, they're not just about building a hot body. They're about building a relationship with yourself where you stop treating your needs like they're optional, where you stop waiting until you're burned out, overwhelmed, exhausted, or completely disconnected before you decide to make a change, where you stop making your health the first thing you sacrifice every time life gets heavy. At some point, you realize that taking care of yourself is not something you earn after everything else is handled, but it's the thing that helps you handle everything else. It's the thing that gives you energy to show up for your life. Maybe your story looks way different from mine, but maybe there's part of you that knows that you have been ignoring yourself for too long. And maybe this is your reminder that you don't have to wait for a diagnosis, a breakdown, a rock bottom, or your body screaming at you to start acting. This is a message I would have heard earlier. You can start now. Not because you need to punish yourself into becoming better, but because your life, your health, your body, your mind, the woman that you are becoming is worth protecting. If this spoke to you, drop a comment below and I'd love to hear what sticks. That's all for today, girlies. Let's go build our strongest, most confident body this week, babes.